ALSA local chapter Universitas Diponegoro. Maybe in this sharing session this afternoon, we would like to humbly present you our organization, that is ALSA local chapter Universitas Diponegoro. Once again, we would like to express our gratitude for your generosity to maybe join our discussion today, having a sharing session with us, and hopefully this sharing session will be the medium for our organization to be more enlightened in regards of the law science itself. Okay. Basically, this is just a little, not too specific presentation. So we divided the presentation today into three contents: who we are and who are we becoming, what do we do, and why students, especially for the law students, should become part of us. Okay, this is our board, the current local board of our organizations. Next. Okay, first, who we are and who are we becoming. Maybe Prof. Salawat previously have known or heard in regards of ALSA itself, because our organization is widespread in 17 Asian nations, including Malaysia. So just in the August, one of the national chapters, which is India, just joined ALSA, and then it completed our organizations with 17 national chapters. And in Malaysia as well, I think there are many and several local chapters. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the international board, the board of ALSA International, the Vice President of Academic Activities and Training. Yes, Vice President of Academic Activities. He's from Malaysia as well, and I think he's from UKM, because last year he visited our Faculty of Law Undip in the student exchange last year. Okay. Next. So basically, our organization has the following visions and the purpose and objectives. So as you may see on the screen, our organization is the medium for Asian law students to focus on a global vision on the promising future of Asia, to promote an awareness of justice, and last but not least is to facilitate the recognitions of the social responsibilities of law students. And through these visions, our founding fathers and our founding mothers have their purpose or objectives in regards to create this kind of organization. One of the most noble purpose that they think is about to so the law students in Asia can understand and appreciate the diversity and share the ideals of law in society through exchange and communication among Asian law students. And then one of the purpose or the other objectives is also to create and to enhance the capabilities of Asian law students to become internationally minded, socially responsible, academically committed, and legally skilled. So actually, this is our 4 pillars of ALSA. The first one is to become internationally minded. The second one is to become socially responsible towards the society. The third one is to become academically committed. And then the last but not least is about legally skilled. So we hope that through our activities, working programs, we can shape our members to become internationally minded, socially responsible, academically committed, and last but not least is to become legally skilled. So maybe it's ALSA in the international level. So as I stated before, currently we have 17 national chapters in all around Asia. In Indonesia itself, we ALSA IELTS Undip, local chapter Universitas Diponegoro, is just one of the local chapters in ALSA and national chapter in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we have around 14 other local chapters. Okay, this is the brief history of ALSA IELTS Undip. Actually, we were founded at and established on June 1st of 1994. And this is the idea to brought up the ALSA IELTS Undip come up from Hendrono Susabdo. He's currently one of the most notable litigation lawyer in Indonesia. Hendrono came up with the idea to establish ALSA after attended the ASEAN Law Students International conference in Jakarta. So previously, before we changed the name to Asian Law, the name is ASEAN Law Students Association. Now with over than 150 active members and 100 alumni, ALSA IELTS Undip will always become a platform that produce leaders and agents of change, not just for Indonesia, but also for the society. Okay. Actually, this is our visions in the current board. So we would like to become a progressive entity formed by the principles of ALSA, which I already stated with the 4 pillars of ALSA. This is our missions. Okay. Okay. Next, actually, we divided. We have our current structure. This is the current board structure. Actually, we divided our structure to 5 big posts under the supervision of the director itself. The first one is secretary. The second is internal affairs. Third one is external affairs. The fourth is academic development, and last one is training post. Okay, maybe this one is the interesting one. What do we do? Okay, maybe this is just a set of photos gallery. This is actually was taken before the COVID pandemic, of course. This is our local working progress in the ALSA IELTS Undip. This is
I cannot hear you. What happened?
Sorry, Prof, but I think Georgie is having connection problems.
Yes, I think so. Okay. Maybe he's trying, I guess. He should try. No problem. We wait for him.
The room.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hello, Georgie, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, you can continue.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry for the inconvenience since I'm switching device and also the network. Okay, let me just continue the presentation. So the second one, this is our photos taken before, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our working programs in the local chapters level. Next, we have, this is a few photos from our national events. This is our photos in the National Assembly, and also there is the seminar and workshop in the national level, and this is when we become the second winner of the national moot court competition. Okay, this is another photos. Okay, and this is maybe a few screenshots taken. So basically, even though we're still in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, we believe that the situation will not limit our vision to become useful, not only for just our members but also for the society. So we still continuing our working program, but we shift most of our working program into the online platform. One of them is like in the app, in the upper side, we have like activities called Alsa Mengajar, or so basically we teach English to the orphans in an orphanage in Jakarta, because we think this working program is one of the implementation of our social responsibilities. So the facilitator or the teacher, this is all our ALSA's members. Not so there are only a few members come to the orphanage, but the other are teaching or giving lessons from online. Okay. Next, why students should become part of us. So maybe what we always thought, what ALSA would like offer is, ALSA is a medium that we set the examples on how law students should be prepared to be fit in the professional and global era. And also, we think we also provide them home for bright law students to maximize their potential, especially in order to prepare them to become the future leaders and key players, not just for Indonesia, but also for Asia. This is, we think, as the SWOT of our organizations. We have the strength because we have the various projects, activities, and working programs, and we also are is the one and only international organization in Faculty of Law of Undip. But maybe there are several weaknesses, such as the responsibility, the lack of self-awareness, responsibility, and for non-members is because lack of interest. But we also have the opportunity because we have the reputable track record and also bargaining positions. We also have, we can accommodate our members to join national and international events. And also, last but not least, is about the relations, because we think in this global era, it is very important for law students to have the relations, not only just maybe law students from other countries, but also we provide notable alumni in various of industries. Okay, maybe this is one of also our international events, Prof. This one is maybe in the left side. When I joined delegates of ALSA Indonesia, representing ALSA Indonesia, to become delegates of ALSA Forum. in Philippines. So in Philippines, we have the theme of the conference is about the data security and how important about the security of data itself. And one of the interesting topic is Indonesia is the only is the one and only countries in amongst other Alsace countries that still do not have the law concerning about data security itself. And then in the bottom side, in the left side, this is when I joined as the delegates representing us Indonesians in Law Students Pro Bono Conference in Singapore in NUS. And then this is when we host the national moot court competition. Okay, this is, we think, as our main core values: professionalism, kinship, integrity, and last but not least, it is commitment. Maybe that's all what I could share to you. I think there are a few of our members would already joining us, and I hope that we can share and also discuss with Professor Salawati. Thank you. May Allah always be one. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor, for the time and also the opportunity.
Most welcome.
Yes. Okay. Maybe from Mufli or Fanya or Diandra or Icha, Erika, and Alifa, maybe would like to discuss, or maybe first, maybe you guys can turn on your camera first, if you may. Okay, maybe Prof, before, while we are waiting for other members to join, is there anything you would like to ask in regards of our organizations? First thing.
Well, actually, ALSA is not something strange for me. Back in my times in law school, I joined ALSA in 1997. So it's something that a must. Actually, me and a few friends, we are the one who established ALSA in UKM. So the more very important is actually we have to bring awareness to the new students to join ALSA, because if they don't join ALSA, they do not know many things. Because this is where I think now we cannot rely on the normal local law to excel. We need to be international, because if you be in international, then it's easy for you to fly high, because not only networking, but also for the future purposes. I take example for myself. Back in 1997, when we start establish this ALSA in UKM, first conference we have is in US, all campus in Bukit Timah, in Clementi. Then at that time, we met. At that time, the members are not like now. Now there are many Korea, Japan join, but at back that times it's only totally ASEAN country. So we're not that big. Like you now, you are more better than our time. So, but the one thing that I get is first my networking. I knew many new friends at that time from law school from all ASEAN country, and I keep contact with them until today. So from Philippines, one of my friends is actually the advisor to the president in Malacanang Palace. One is a very top lawyers in Philippines, and in Chiang Mai, many of them are already professors. In Indonesia, I think one in Kemlu, and another one is in the, I think, judiciary. So we keep contact with that. So you see that every time now in my position, I want to get a fair comment on certain issues, are very easy to contact my friend, because they're all in high positions. And it's really helped me too, because if I want to do any research on the country, normally they really help me. So this is all start with ALSA. So that's why when I back to my university, if the student don't want to join ALSA, then I say that I'm so sorry, but you're going to be backwards. Because people is already go for the international now. The local is only make you don't have the wow factor. If you join ALSA, you have, like you say, you show me already, you have got many activities, and that activity stimulate you and also make a practical way for you to know how to handle the situation after graduate. I do believe that come from the huge country like Indonesia, your competition is a very sniff. So you need to be like creme de la creme to make people look at you. So this is something that through ALSA, through the international or the student associations, which is have the flavor of international inside, that will help you. So I'm glad that you and your friend choose ALSA. I'm not saying that the others are not good. No, I'm saying this is will bring a different type of perspective rather than the typical normal one. So this is a very important for students to start from zero, to build the confidence, to build their attitudes, and then you start to have more, because ALSA is never boring for me. Even until today, I still, sometimes ALSA Malaysia will give me a call and invite me to give a talk on certain topic. So I'm still keep contact, different people, but still keep contact. That's why I'm glad that your presentation is already show how important and active ALSA in Undip. This is something that I think I'm looking forward and congratulate, because you did many activities through the association.
Okay, thank you for the insight and also the enlightenment in regards how important enjoying not just maybe joining ALSA, and how important the internationally minded or international global perspective, especially for allow students. And then thank you as well, Prof, for your sharing in regards of your personal experience in regards your connections with you used to become a member of ALSA Malaysia, and knowing members from other countries such as Philippines and also from Indonesia, and how important in regards of the connections that still until today. Okay, maybe Diandra would like to ask.
So far, I don't have any question for Professor Salawati, but after Professor, my name is Diandra. I'm the Vice Manager of Alumni Relation Division of ALSA Undip. Nice to meet Prof.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Maybe because unfortunately there are no students from UKM is joining us today in this sharing session. May I ask in regard of the conditions, or maybe how COVID-19 pandemic affect the activities, or maybe the current board of ALSA in UKM, Prof?
Yeah. Okay. Despite I'm the supervisor for the United Nations chapters of UKM, actually ALSA also more or less always come to me, despite I'm not their advisor at the university. It very much give effect to the students' activities, because normally we have the face-to-face conference, national level, and then we do many activities like what you show me, but because of this, they are not allowed to come to the campus. So we are not allowed to come to the campus. You cannot do all this kind of activities. So what they can do is online, and you have to understand online is still do not have the human touch. For me, I feel more better. I can see you, but I cannot see you like physically. So I feel okay, but still I wish I can be with you this afternoon, so I can feel like I'm talking to my own student. Because why? this impacts not only ASA in UKM, but all the other student association too. First of all, like they have a few programs to go to another ASEAN country like Cambodia and Laos, and it's not going to happen because Malaysia start to total lockdown last March and open it back end of May. And now it looks like we're going to have another total lockdown, but not all the whole Malaysia, but for the certain state because of a COVID number. And I think will be prologue, and this is something that make many of the students feel very bad. You have to understand also something that we have to look into it is this, the situation of the students physical and mentally effect actually, because for me it's a very important for us to know that student can release their stress through the activities. And without the activities, student is actually not that happy during because all the subject is via Zoom or Microsoft Team. So the student little bit disturbed, and exam also like that. And the way we're giving the marks also different. So the student, we know that is the new norm, but it's the new norm that not all people can accept at one time. So the student feel very bad and the student feels stressed. So this is the thing that we have to taking care of, because then what we have to do? Shall we just be like this, or should we meet, or how? Because hybrid meeting are being provided. So the best is still you cannot leave your members like that. So still you gonna have your discussion and project, even though you have to do it through like via this virtual, because I think at least the student can talk to each other and can talk to the advisor what they feel. I'm more concerned about it because many of my students, they have a problem with stress during the COVID-19, and they feel that this is something how the students association should taking care of. So that's why I said the impact of my student is they cannot do their project, even though they already planned it ahead, and they have to cancel all the trips outside the country. So this is make the performance of the student association this year is not as much as good as their previous senior.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the answer. Maybe before we proceed from my fellow members of ALSES Undip's questions, actually there is one question from one of our lecturer, Pahandi. He would like to ask, dear Prof. Salawati, could you elaborate more in regard with the role of student organization or international organization, NGO or NPO, in order to support instead develop the skill from law students and their careers? Your insight will be useful for our student here. Thank you.
Okay, yes. I say yes, it's really helped because role of student organization and international organization to support the development of a student, especially their skill, because we want the student to have the skill. In my university, we have a very good cooperation between UNICEF and UNHCR. So UNHCR and UNICEF already established their connection with our university, our faculty. So what they do is almost all the training, also ICRC, I forgot three, ICRC, UNICEF and UNCHR. This is the three international body that work very close to us. Every single year, they will take our student to go for internship. And one of our students already get a job with them. They also always bring our student keen to give more opportunity and priority to our student to join their fieldwork. So this is a really help the skill for our law student, especially like how my student have to look the situation of the refugees through UNHCR's perspective, because Malaysia are not party to 1951 convention, and we classified them as illegal immigrant. But at the same time, they are not illegal immigrant in that way because they are refugees. But since Malaysia not a party, so Malaysia put them under the Migration Law Act 1956, which is make them fall under the category of illegal immigrant, which is a very unfair. So my student who joined this international organization, the UNICEF and UNCHR, come back with a very different perspective, very vocal, very critical, and very brave to say, okay, this is wrong. This is what the government done is wrong. This is and that. So I see that this is the one that we want. One skill that I always want to see in a law student is very brave to say this is right, this is wrong. The problem that we face with this young generation, or not even young generation, the old generation even, if you taking care of your own interests, you really, not going to say, oh, this is wrong. You're not going to say because you're afraid that you will not get anything for yourself. But because if you choose to be, okay, this is wrong, this is not wrong, then you are choose to be not popular. And not popular means you are not the favorite. So people need to be like that so that they can get more, be easy being promoted or something. But I think that will be the wrong perspective of law student. My student who joined this, I can see they are very keen to critique the government and critiques wherever it is wrong. They're not condemned, but they're critiques. So for them, I think this is what I want. Law students supposed to lead the other student to tell, okay, this is what wrong and what's not. Because if the law students are quiet, then what else the other student? Because they only look up at us and say, okay, what do you think? You're going to advise us. So you say, okay, this actually is wrong, this is not wrong. So that's very important for the role of student organization, which working and will help together with the international organization or local NGOs still. Okay, for example, that one is a three institution that are very close to my university and my faculty. Another local institution that's very close also is the Voice of the Children, and also the women's rights organizations, and another one is the Friend of the Refugees. So the Friend of Refugees is I'm the one who personally bring it. Many people not agree, but for me it's like this. UNCHR international body, but the Refugees Association is perspective of our local NGOs facing difficulties when they want to help the refugees. That the real situation. So when I will ensure that I put at least 2 or 3 my students must go do their internship. Whoever who love international law, I will put them into that. So whoever love, they will go and they've come back to me after 2 months. I said, what's made you different before and after? They said, life is very cruel. Cruel to the very weak people like refugees. I want to hear that. I don't want someone to go for the internship and say, oh, okay, doctor, I feel very bad. I feel very sad. We don't want that situation. That one is, we know, is a human nature. But I want to see the critical things. So that is very important. This question is very good because now I do believe many of your lecturers will get more contacts with the international NGOs or local NGO that's very powerful, and they will help the skill from the law student. So it's a very good, and I think you need to get use of these NGOs or NPOs to ensure they can transfer the expertise to the student, and it make the student know how to deal with a very recent situation.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the answer. It is very enlightening us, especially maybe for our fellow students of Faculty of Law. Maybe we would like to. Actually, this, your answer is really encouraging, since for law students to have maybe internship in the NGO or maybe other international organizations to know more. One of the example is one of your students become an intern at UNHCR. Okay, maybe we would like to proceed. There is one more question from one of the lecturer at Faculty of Law Undip as well. Still have a correlation with Mr. Handi's question. Ms. Aprista would like to ask to Prof. Salawati in regards of, could you elaborate more the role of lecturer to support the students' organization as well? which one is better suggestions? Sorry, what is better suggestion model or program to link between students organization and lecturer, because the gap of year sometimes becomes the barrier and becomes the barrier between the lecturer with the students. Thank you, Prof.
All right, actually, there is a very important role played by the lecturer, because lecturer is the one who will lead the student to understand what they're going to be in the future. Of course, you are not a kids, but you need the guidance, and the guidance must come directly from the professors, associate professors, or the doctors, or any lecturer in the faculty. So I do believe in my side, I believe the lecturer. Oh, I'm so sorry. There is raining heavily in my outside of my house. So sorry for that. This is something that for me is very important, because if the lecturers not support the student organization program or not support whatever they do, then where they want to get the skill? Because they look at us, they look at the lecturer as a model. And if the lecturers are not open-minded, or the lecturer is always being negative to the student activities, which is a very good one, then it would not encourage the student to do better in future. So for me, yes, in my university, lecturer must be the supervisor for any of the student activities body. There must be a lecturer, one lecturer or two lecturer, depends on how big is it. And then what is the better suggestion model, yeah, or program between students, organization, and the lecturer? I think by invite lecturers in as a supervisor, any of the students' activities is really help. Somehow rather, the lecturer have a contact, and they can use the contact to make the program of the student become successful. And this is how the lecturer played the role. And then, like in Malaysia, we got many protocols before you do, especially you want to invite ministers, you want to join the field work in the sensitive area, you need so many paperwork. And your lecturers are helping the student to finish it all and guide the student until they finish their project. Okay, I take my example as myself as advisor for the United Nations chapters in UKM. What we do is we do many activities per year before COVID coming. We went to Bandung, and then we visit the cancer hospital there. Some people question us like, why Indonesia? Why not other country? I said, first of all, I always believe that if you want to do good, it's not necessarily which country you can go. It's where you can contribute. And I believe that at that time, the people in Bandung is really received us well. And we went to do many activities in the mosque, in the church. I don't discriminate religion. I believe as long there is a religion, I respect it. So I don't put that this higher than that. No, I don't believe in that way. I believe everybody have the religion that we should respect and do not bring any negativities. So we go all, and we got received very good from all those people in Bandung. And I believe that after that, we bring 20 students there. Many of the students are coming back. We have the post-mortem. I can see the different way of thinking. Some of them just the first time went to Indonesia, and they are surprised. Because I say that is the best thing is, when you see the country with your own eyes, you will not believe media. Media can always portray anything because they have the purpose to do that. But if you look at the certain country with your eyes, then you will know that how beautiful is the country, people, the cultures, and the understanding and the politics. After they visit Indonesia, then they know why Indonesian is a little bit different from Malaysia, why Indonesian are very much stronger in say something to the government, comparing us in Malaysia. Because I said the law itself is different. We are British common law, and they have that convinced from this Dutch, and you have to understand how they struggle to get independence. So it makes the I can say the Indonesian feel more fighters. I can say that, comparing us in Malaysia. So this is something that we have to understand, because Indonesia is our neighbor. So then you start to understand the country, you would not have the negative thinking about the country. You understand, oh, because the history is like this. So the history bring the law, and the law is the practice. So the practice is like that. So then is everything is okay. Yeah, that's it. That's why I always say that if there no guidance from the lecturer, the students association will go nowhere. The lecturer play a very vital role to give away to the student. I don't spoon feed them. I ask them to go to the Indonesian embassy. I ask them to do everything with the immigration, with the police before we go. I want them to deal with these things so then they will know. And the gap year in Malaysia is not successful. We did try, but then we not get it because the student feel that they themselves don't want to be with the industries because they want to graduate first. And the lecturer also feel that you graduate first, after that you can. The internship is okay, but not the gap year. So the gap year in my university are still talking, but never be implemented.
Okay, thank you once again, Prof, for the question. Maybe from students, maybe from Fanya or from Icha or Diandra.
Hello, Prof. I would like to ask a question. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, Prof. Dr. Salawati. My name is Nia Putri Davanti, and I am from batch 2018 of Faculty of Law Undip and LC Undip. I am also the staff of Public Relations Division in LC Undip. So I would like to ask regarding foreign students in Malaysia and how foreigners are studying there. Since I have a friend who goes to UPM and he is currently taking online classes due to the pandemic. Is it a hassle teaching students from not only from other cities but from other countries? How to overcome the cultural barrier between students, and how do organizations like ALSA create external relations within students in Malaysia? Thank you, Prof.
Okay, two questions from you. I understand how to teach during pandemics when the students are not in Malaysia but in other country. Times, the difference of times is a really a challenge. I can say that if like Indonesia, Malaysia is only 1 hour, so no problem. But what if my student is in Africa or is in Middle East? I have one student who reside in US and cannot come to Malaysia. It's like 11 o'clock at night here, 11 o'clock, which is a daylight in New York. So he was like, he has to follow us, our time. So when we have a class like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then he get the 4 o'clock in the morning. So he have to wake up and just like all of you here, because there is no exception for that. Because we say these are new normals, new norms that we have to protect to do that. So if you don't come to the class, then you will not get to know what's the discussion, right? So you have to. So far, for my master class, international development, I have 2 students, which is one in Iraq and one in Mali. So Iraq's time and Mali time's different. Malaysian time totally out of contact different, which is 6 hours they are ahead than us. We are 6 hours ahead that they did back. So the point is, what I want to say is I don't want them to give any excuse. Try not to give an excuse. And so far, we just start the class about last week. So far, they attended the class very well. Because normally when the class, I say to my student, please, you can mute, but don't try to hide your face, because then I don't know where you're going. So they always there for 2 hours with me. I think the challenges is like that, time based, and then the student also cannot get to borrow the books from the library because they are in their country, and they get also sometimes the internet connection, not all the students have the internet connection very good. I don't want to talk about the international student, even Malaysian student also have the connections, but it's very bad if they stay in rural area. Okay, and the third question that I think you asked, what you asked the last question, you have a friend, right, in UPM?
Yeah, and yeah, I'm just curious about how so in UPM there are like many students from other countries, right? And how do the lecturers handle for example,
there's so many variety. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In UPM, Okay, I think in UKM, we take foreign student at the undergraduate at the science faculty. So if you go to the Faculty of Science and Technology, there are many Indonesian students who takes first degree, which is undergraduate. Yeah, I touched them before, and then I met a few of them. Some from Sumatra, some from Java Island, some from Sulawesi. Some come with the government scholarship, some by the parent scholarship. So what I can say is they blend very well. They blend it very well. I think now is the open world, because if you're talking about Indonesian student in Malaysia, they don't have any problem at all to adapt, because Indonesian food is everywhere. Indonesian Association University is very strong, and it's easy to get to keep contact with your embassy or your consulate, because I think Indonesia is among the biggest embassy in Kuala Lumpur, so no problem. And your embassy also play very, I can say, active in Kuala Lumpur, because they always meet the student, you know, they're always having meetings, and that's what I understand. Okay. The only problem that we have is when we have the master student. Even the master student also, we don't have a problem, because they come in large group also. And I think in my case, I think I have African student, Arab students, ASEAN student. They don't have any problem to befriend in my class, because I think the lecturer must know to bring the issue. Because if the lecturer do not know how to bring the issue, it will be a problem. Okay, the lecturer cannot say something which is sensitive on certain country. Because if there is an Indonesian student, there is an Arab student, there is an African student, I must know the balance. I cannot say like, wow, you know why, if these people, no, they are very poor, if I keep saying your country is very poor, or I keep saying that African is poor, African poor, then means that I'm not sensitive and I don't have knowledge to teach. Because it's a very wrong to say any country poor. This is not about the poor of the country. It's about you are failed to deliver your lecture and your knowledge to the student. So the student, normally, they will run away from that kind of class. My experience with my faculty is the lecturer are not aware, are not sensitive, and not respect the student's culture, background, and country. The student only come to one class, and after that, they will say, no, I'm not going to come to her class. I want to join your class. I think you can ask Bapak Pulung, because he's with me, yeah, and how the student love to come to my class, because I study it very well. And I study the country, I visit the country. So I don't just listen or read. I be there, so I know. And I think we don't have to, as a human being, we don't have to tell or talk bad about certain country or certain human being. For me, that is the normal process in the world. So what the problem also sometimes is the lecturer do not understand the background. Okay, for example, my student, my PhD student from Sulawesi before, he cannot write in Bahasa Malaysia way. He wrote his PhD in Bahasa, but we want in Bahasa Malaysia. And he cannot adapt 4 years from directly, because he's 45 years old, indirectly, because 45 years he's an Indonesian, he speak, he write in Indonesia. Suddenly, just because he do PhD, I asked him, okay, you cannot have this Indonesian language, I want you to do all in Malaysian language. Of course he cannot perform, because that's not his language. So what I asked him to do is, okay, you write in Bahasa Indonesia first, then we go for translate in Bahasa Malaysia for the purpose of your thesis. But you keep the original in Bahasa Indonesia, so when you go back to your country, you can publish, I said. So you must understand the situation of a student. The problem also, sometimes the lecturer fail to understand the needs of the foreign student. The needs of foreign student is different. Arab different, Africa different, Europe different, Japanese different, Indonesia or ASEAN different. That's why I say, if the lecturer are not sensitive, the lecturer do not have a big knowledge and an experience and open-minded, they might fail to bring their international student together. So I think I know why UPM and USM are being favorite, because they are huge. The university is huge. They are very huge university. They have many international student association that get support from the university. My university not that much, but we can say that we have almost all type of student that come to us. The only thing is because our situation is scattered, so science student are more with the science student, the student with the arts or law or social science is with them. So that is make like not being together, but actually they've been together in the faculty. My faculty of law, we don't have a problem. We have the student association. In UKM, we have the International Student Association. And I think we have the International Day for the student even before COVID. And we used to have our stadium for the student to bring their own custom foods and all that. So I think that should not be a problem. The only problem if the lecturer fail to understand the student.
Any follow-up questions?
I have no following questions. Thank you so much, Prof. Dr. Salawati, for your answer. It was very elaborating, and thank you. And that's enough for my question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Fanya. Maybe proceed to next questions, maybe from fellow students.
I would like to ask a question.
Okay.
Good day, Prof. Salawati. My name is Carissa, and I am a student of batch 2019, Faculty of Law, Universitas Diponegoro. I'm also an internship in the Public Relations Division of ALSA Local Chapter Universitas Diponegoro. I will kindly ask you a question. How is the student learning situation in Malaysia itself? Like, how is Malaysia surviving with the whole online learning situation? Are there any universities or schools that can already hold offline learning or any other offline activities? Or if there still aren't, are there any policies issued by the government regarding to when the offline learning can be started? Thank you.
All right. It's at this moment, start from March when the pandemic start to come to Malaysia, we locked down for 2 months until end of May. At this time, everyone work from home, study from home, online classes. But it's a very chaos. Because why it is chaos? Because the lecturers not ready for it. System are not ready for it. Internet are not ready for it. You know, despite maybe people say we might not have the internet problem, we do have, especially rural areas, especially in Sabah and Sarawak, the East Malaysia, because they are not so much developed. So it gives a very discriminate potential to all the students, because the student who come from the cities or the family can afford a good internet, then they don't have any problem to have the online class. But if the students are from a rural area and poor family, internet is something that very precious, and sometimes they give priority to food rather than the internet. So we found out that the difference between the rich family and the poor family getting more bigger, because the rich family are not being affected. They are feel okay, but the poor family, despite they cannot go for work and they no money to eat, they also have to provide this kind of thing, which is they cannot handle it anymore. So in Malaysia, this is the consequences that we see and we talk, because we keep denying the rights to study to the people who are poor. But and for the rich people, then can continue as normal. So my university struggle to provide internet to all the students. We try to have a collaboration with the telco, like Maxis, DG, Celcom, you name it. Try to give a free SIM card and hotspot to the student who cannot afford the internet at home. So then they can still follow the online class by the lecturer. Not only the student having a problem, lecturer also having a problem. They get so many types of internet in Malaysia. So some lecturer, they not have the high speed one. So you can see just like a turtle. So the students like waiting, you know, the lecturer sometimes like that. So it is hassle at the beginning. but we cannot see the student face to face. Until today, we start our new semester, the government say all online. University, school, all online. Because the COVID cases is getting higher and higher lately. So like my kids, they have online class. But the problem is we feel, as I said before, is the students are getting more stressed. First, because they feel like they cannot interact through the iPads or through this laptop are not same like you see your friend. So we get the syndrome of the student who feel that they are they are not happy. They start to ask the lecturer, is it if they can have the class face to face, which is being, it is forbidden to do that. So for those who, now what we do is, we know that there's quite a number of students who are from the poor family, cannot afford the internet. We bring them to the campus. We bring them to the campus, we give them a room, because UKM have a Wi-Fi free for all. So using it, we bring them back to campus, but they have to follow the SOP of COVID to ensure they are free from COVID. But for those who have a good internet at home, you don't have to come. You just be online, because we want to give a right to education to all. Because I advise my vice chancellor that we must give a right to all the students to join online class. Because if we feel that, in fact, I think we have the percentage, we make research and also quick response from students who actually facing a very difficult about internet. We found out it's about 14% of the UKM student overall. So we have this 14% student. We ensure they get online, because if not, the other student not going to, having a problem, but they will headed behind. So for me, this is needs the way of the lecturer handling things are different. And I'm not to mention to you about examination, because examination is another problem for all of us. The question being set before is more on the exam, which is sitting down exam, but now we cannot have it. So we have to have the online exam, which the question must be provide different way, and the student can open their book. So of course the student have to think like, how I want to answer the question, and what if my internet corrupt during the process. So this is all, the lecturer cannot go anywhere, must be here and then help the student to ensure the student can answer 2 hours. If not, in my case, there's one student who come from the rural area in Sarawak. Her internet keep yes, no, keep yes, no. So I say, okay, I give you another 1 hour. Another 1 hour, you finish it. Okay, if you fail, you email me whatever the time you have it. I have to do it because I know she's a very far away from us. I want to be fair to her. Because the other friend, of course, by 3 or 4 o'clock, okay, doctor, I finished already. I sent my answer script. But for her, still struggling, still try to WhatsApp me, doctor, I cannot get my internet is on and off. Okay. I said, okay, I'm waiting for you until 12 midnight. So the 10 o'clock exam until 12 o'clock, she cannot manage it. I give her until 12 midnight, only her. So then I wait, 12 o'clock, I see already she sent by 10 o'clock. So then it's okay. That is how terrible the online course when it's happened nowadays.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for your answer.
Welcome.
Okay, because we still have like 30 minutes, can we proceed?
No problem.
Okay, several questions. Okay, maybe next question from Diandra or Divan or Mufli.
Okay, Prof, may I ask a question? In your opinion, what is the main role of students' organization for other students who is probably doesn't have any interest in joining organizations? So we as the member can give useful benefits to our surroundings besides any program or activities that is already held by the organization itself. Thank you, Prof.
That particular person we call antisocial in my university, because we have a student problem like this. I mean, after 15 years with university and faculty, I met so many type of this kind of student. Their life is only library, go to class, and then ensure they get A's in all the subjects. The rest they don't want to do. And for them, like if they go for any student activities, it was not going to help them to get a good grades. They don't see they don't see their how is this student activity help them in nurture their attitudes, and also how to build their confidence. That's why this kind of person, normally for me, they won't be success, because they don't know how to interact, they don't know how to talk, they don't know how to address themselves, and they don't know how to be in a good attitude. Because for them it's a book, and they're not going to be success compared to their friends who are very active. Because you are very active in the student society, you meet the people, you meet the society outside, you meet the leaders, you give your opinion, so you have the confidence, you build your own attitudes towards others, and you start to understand the sensitivities of others by having the activities. But these people don't. So you know what, my experience with these people, some getting worse, some you can help. We cannot force them, because it's come from their heart, but you can sit down and talk to them and say that this is 21st century COVID era. So if you don't change your mind, you don't know what's happened in other people's life, you won't go anywhere. And I can tell you the situation in Malaysia now, even though you get the 4 flat, still people feel that you are not success. Still they say that you are not success, because you don't know what is happening around you. You still, like, do not know what is going on. So for me, what's the point to get all A's, but you don't know how to handle yourself in the society? So within this, you will know. And then I have an experience where a student come back and tell me, but doctor, I come to university to become a first class degree LLB. I don't want to be like that, my friend, second lower or second upper. I said, I mean myself, I don't get first class, I got second upper. But I think myself, sometimes when I compare with my friend who are just reading, I've been more successful, because I joined ALSA during my time. I joined UN Club. I joined the another one, the entrepreneurship, so the group. So I know it. Even though I'm law student, I know about economics. I know, and it's helped me a lot. It's helped me to nurture where I'm going to when I'm going out. And now in Malaysia, people don't want 4 flat anymore. People want student with attitudes and can tell the next company that want to hire them, this is what I can do. And this is how I look on certain things. I'm very critical on that. So that's why I said, if they don't join the student association, how they want to gain that experience? They won't gain anything.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for the answer.
Okay.
Maybe next question.
Yes. Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Divan. I'm from batch 2019, and I'm also the internship in the Membership and Organizational Development Division of ALSA LC Undip. And I would like to ask a question, which is something I've been wondering quite about. Is I've been wondering how different nations handle law enforcement during this COVID-19 pandemic. How do they handle law enforcement regarding court proceedings? Are they all done by the e-court or something like that? How does the law enforcement system work during the COVID-19 pandemic? That's my question. Thank you, Professor.
You refer to the court proceeding, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. during the earlier case of COVID, we're still having the normal court procedure, which is face-to-face. But when the situation getting more serious, we close the court. So when you close the court for 2 months, you got so many cases, and the judge cannot stand with that. So the Chief Justice say, now we have to choose the case which is not serious, which is like not many secrets, not many private. We do it online. So we start already online, especially commercials, business, or which is not criminals. Criminals, we still have face-to-face. But you know what? The magistrate are very scared because the remand proceeding people normally have COVID. So what they do, they don't allow during the COVID times, the magistrate do not allow these people to come. He himself opened the booth at the prison or the police station. So he will remand them on big group, not like before this one by one, we name it like Salawati, Mabasi, we're going to be remand for 5 days proceeding because of theft, blah, blah. No, now he just announced all of you will remand for 5 days. That's all. So he come back. And one magistrates are very creative. He opened his truck. Because he said he needs to give justice to the people who in remand. If he wait for the online and all that, it will not be justice being given by these people because they are still innocent, not proven guilty yet. So he opened his truck, he make like an office, he went to the police station, he give all those remand proceeding. Okay, everybody will get 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. So it's about the creativity. That's why I say we never see the magistrate open the truck. Now we open like the food truck. So this is happened during pandemic in Malaysia. It depends on how the sensitive the case. But the sensitive case, especially the Sharia case, we don't have the online. We have to do it, but in very strict SOP. For example, if you have the divorce case, the Muslim divorce case, what we do is before we can ask many people to come. So now only we read in the morning about 3 or 4 cases, divorce cases, and we will call you come. So only the husband and wife who want to divorce will enter with the interpreter and with the judge. Simple. If they have a lawyers, okay, the lawyers, but not more than 8 people in one proceeding. So you can see that we still half and half, like online and also hybrid.
Okay.
Wow. Thank you, Professor, for your answer.
Yeah. Actually, this is quite interesting because it is slightly different with the conditions in Indonesia because previously Prof. Salawati told us that in Malaysia, most of the cases held by online is the commercial dispute, but slightly different in Indonesia. In Indonesia, almost not only just criminal case, but also civil and also the commercial dispute or even specific commercial dispute such as bankruptcy is still held offline. Only the criminal cases, the is being hybrid, but like civil and commercial is still held offline. Maybe is there any questions more to Professor Salawati? Or maybe I should ask maybe my last question before we end this sharing session. Okay, if I may ask, Prof. Actually, I've been doing some research in regards of Professor Salawati interest and expertise. One of them is about the international development law. Actually, for this kind of science, I think in Indonesia it's not quite being developed, like about the refugee law or other things, because we think that Indonesian students, especially for law students, is still learning law in general. It's too general, only maybe public international law or not quite specific, maybe in Malaysia. But the one thing is really interesting about is about expertise about the refugee itself, your expertise and maybe interest in regards of about refugee. Actually, it reminds me of my personal experience joining the pro bono conference in Singapore with other Asian law students. At the end of the conference, we are asked to create a pro bono program, and the delegates from Indonesia come up with the ideas to create a pro bono program in regards to enlighten the society's awareness about the Rohingyas refugee, because there are many Rohingyas refugee coming to Indonesia seeking for protection. But the thing that I would like to ask is about how about the regulations, or maybe how the lecturers in Malaysia supporting their students to create a pro bono program, because I think that it is one of the noble implementation as a law student can have, because they implemented their skills and their knowledge by giving a pro bono program, because in Singapore, if I'm not mistaken, the students since the very in the very university, they have support them since to create their own pro bono program. But in Indonesia, I think that for pro bono program, it's not prohibited, but maybe there are no specific regulations that supporting law students to have their own pro bono program. Maybe Prof. Salawati, could you give us an enlightenment about my question? Thank you, Prof.
Okay. We are British common law states. Yeah. We inherit that from British. Okay. Every law school in Malaysia, we do have the legal aids service, where the student will take turns to give advice to the public. However, the student cannot do it by their own. They must be a lecturer together with them, because in Malaysia, to practice as a lawyer, you must have an insurance. Because if you give a wrong advice and your client lost in the case because of your advice and they sue you, you will be guaranteed by your insurance that every year you will have to renew your license. That's how when I was practiced before I joined university. And there is a huge amount to gain the license, because our indemnity insurance can come up to 2 million ringgit Malaysia. So they cover us if we are being sued by our client up to 2 million. But if more than that, then you have to pay by your own. So the problem is almost all the students, they would love to do that, but they need a guidance and a lecturer beside that. Because if not, they might tell different way. In my university, we have that legal aids room where we take turns to be with the students, and the student also take turns that we open, like we call it public. We open like start around 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock. So we receive Sharia matters, the Muslim issues, or the civil matters, or even criminal matters. But what we do is, because we have a very good relationship with our judiciary body, the Palace of Justice in Putrajaya, and also we are very close to the legal aids. So what we do is, if there is a case like domestic violence, for example, which is a need an urgent action, the wife normally come like, you know, they're hiding from the husband and knows that there's a pro bono by the student and come and show that, you know, I've been beaten by husband, I want to run from my family, how do I do? So at that time, we first of all will help them to make a police report. And we will, and the police have the domestic violence unit where we'll handle A to Z. So normally they were being put at the Women AIDS Organization house till they get the injunction from the court that to separate their husband for not coming to them anymore. So this is the cases that I can say that come to my legal aids room by the student in public is first the divorce matter. The divorce matter, I'm sorry, my kids have come to me. The divorce matter, and then second, the commercial matter, especially land, for example. Then I can tell you that the other is more or less like a theft issue. The husband got remand, whether true or not. You know, the very, not say petty, but a small case. But the Sharia issue is the number one. Divorce, domestic violence, maintenance for the children after divorce, the husband failed to pay, and then the custody of the children, you know, the mother and the father, you know, fight for one children or their children. So that is the common that we receive every single day in our public room. But the criminals, I think quite small, except for the remand proceeding for the drug case or theft. Then I think that's the way. So we have the lecturer who very conversed in Sharia and also lecturers who converse in criminal and civil litigation together with the student every single day. We take turns.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for the wide-eyed, open, very interesting perspective from from you. Maybe since we are almost at the end of today's sharing session, maybe before we end the session, Prof. Salawati have maybe any message for us or maybe for our fellow students at Undip, how to maybe, as you stated before, how to develop our perspective or maybe how to develop our legal skill, especially in this global era.
Okay, I think now, whether you like it or not, you need to always bring a very latest and recent issue to be discussed. So the webinar is the very best. Me myself, even at the office, I myself organized 2 webinars, international and national webinars. Because why? If you don't talk, if you don't discuss and get the good panelists to discuss, you will be left behind, because you don't know what actually perspective of the new laws in this pandemic, especially when it's come to the very sensitive issue. And I encourage ALSA or other student association to look what is the latest issue around us to be discussed. You see, previously we talked about terrorism. Now people don't talk about terrorism. People talking about the trade war that very much impact to us. Okay, people talk about South China Sea. Yes, people talking about the China as a giant country and how they impact the development of the other countries. So you need to have more webinars. Very brave enough to handle the webinar. Try to contact the well-known professors to discuss about it for about 1 or 2 hours and make all the students participate. This is what I do. I show to you that because of I very surprised to see when I start one webinar regarding the Malaysian independence and what is the perspective of the young generation towards it, I found out that I got 220 students inside. I just say that to my colleagues, about maybe 70 or 80 students. No, we got 240 students, which is very much from the beginning until we finish the forum, which is something that for me, students want to listen, but you need to ensure that your discussion is a very recent and the very latest issue. And you must select the very good panels to make sure your friend gain from it. And also not only latest issue, second also about the future perspective for the law student. What now the industry want from the law student after pandemic? what skill that you need. So you must ask, you must have the top lawyers in Indonesia, especially from the criminal perspective, international perspective, civil perspective, commercial perspective, to talk to your student. So your student will know, oh, if I want to practice in commercial, I need to know this. If I want to practice in criminal, this is, I'll have to more better understanding. So that will create a student with a mental prepared and attitude, good attitude to enter the market after graduate.
Okay, thank you, Professor Dr. Salawati, for very deep elaborations in regards of our questions. And also thank you as well for listening to our presentations in regards of our organizations at the very beginning of this sharing session. Maybe on behalf of the Faculty of Law Undip, on behalf of our dean and also all lecturer and as well as the students of Faculty of Law Undip, we would like to express our gratitude. We would like to thank you for your time and also for lecture. Maybe we can say we have very much perspective or insight in regards not only just about the law, but maybe about the other things, especially in regards of about how important of the role of student organization in building the capacity of law students in this global era. Maybe that's all from us. We would like to thank you. Maybe we hope that maybe after this COVID-19 pandemic and we can see each other, maybe from UKM can physically visit our faculty, or maybe we hope maybe one of us maybe can become a student for our master degree, maybe become your student at UKM or having exchange, a student exchange in UKM. Maybe that's all, Professor. Once again, thank you. I hope you will always in good condition and also in excellent health. Thank you.
Okay.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Professor.
Mr.
Thank you
Diaz,
so
can
much.
we take
Thank you so much.
can we take photo session before?
Okay, so you can take a picture together with Professor Salawati. As
Okay.
always, as Indonesian people, we like to take a picture together.
No, that's normal, common in Malaysia. Don't worry. That's common.
Cak atau Fanya yang ngetik?
Okay, anyone who wants to take a picture? Georgie?
I think I'll take it. But yes, I think I'll take
Okay,
it.
yeah, sure, Fanya. Go on.
Okay. Okay. In 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. And then the other one with the Alsa pose, always be one. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, thank you,
very much.
Professor.
Thank you, Professor. See you tomorrow.